Hi, this is Billie Beene here with another segment of Truth by Billie Beene Special Report. Today's date, December 5, 2022. This is my third YouTube channel. I have a subscribe button in the lower right corner of my screen. Thanks for like, subscribe, and share on YouTube and Rumble. Episode 473. Some of my sources are God in the Bible, Patriot subscribers, Dutch Sheets, Israeli News Live, A Mercouris, RT, Daily Mail Plus. And so we see Russia and Ukraine trade blows. Russia claims the Arctic Sea Route and face recognition plus equals tracking. Yeah, they want to track us based on our ethnicity, our DNA, and other things, along with our social credit score on a global basis. What can we say? And the technology exists to do that. All right. So now we'll get to the Arctic Sea route. And I'll tell you what this is. I'll draw you a map because it's going to be a big deal. Could lead to warlike situations between nations. Okay. We have Alaska, Canada. This is Greenland. Okay. This is the Arctic Ocean. We have Ireland, UK. We have Russia. And now we have this sea route going this way in the Arctic Ocean, and Russia is claiming all of it. And what this can do, and this goes around like this area is Norway, Sweden, Finland. Okay. Is it can has a lot of resources there for sure. If you can claim this, you can get the resources, but it also saves time and thousands of miles in trips. So that's why, like going from St. Petersburg to Vladivostok would be 14,000 kilometers, but using this route are 8,700 miles. And it otherwise, if you have to go through the Suez Canal, it would be 23,000 kilometers or over 14,000 miles. And I want to correct a misspeak I had in my last video. I'll draw you a map. That was about the distance that the missiles for Russia can travel. Here's Russia. Here's the U.S. In their hypersonic Kinzhal type missiles, they can travel 40,000 kilometers, which is about 34,855 miles. And they go underneath the radar, so they can launch from Russia all the way to the U.S. So that's going on. Now we have A Mercouris. He's a journalist out of London, saying that today, 12:05, and this is like PM, and I'll cover what happened in the AM that led up to this. So all over Ukraine, there's a large missile strike in response to what happened earlier in the morning. And also the CEO of Raytheon said that Ukraine, in about 1 year of fighting, has used up 13 years of production. So it's taking the U.S. weapons and ammo level down about 13 years. So now, there was earlier this morning a drone strike in several locations inside Russia. So here we have Ukraine, we have Russia. So one of these was at Ryan Anak, and this one, let's see, is right about here, Ingalls, and this is Mongolia, and this is China, and this is Japan out here. Now, this is thousands of miles away. It's reasonable that a drone strike could have been launched from Ukraine to hit this Russian base where it killed 3 and wounded 5. It's not reasonable that a drone strike was launched from Ukraine to here on all the way across Russia on the edge of Mongolia. Two options here. One, it was launched from inside Russia, which means they have Ukraine traitors, spies, operatives inside Russia. The second one is the Shadow NATO U.S. base from Japan hit this base. So those are the two options that are going on. Now, Ukraine continues to send thousands, apparently. So here's Ukraine. Here is Luhansk, Donetsk, Zaporizhzhia, Kherson, Russia. These are part of Russia. Crimea is down here. Right about this area, there's Bakhmut. And Ukraine continues to pour in troops. And according to Alexander Mercouris' numbers he's getting, per day, 200 are killed, which means about 800 are being wounded. These are Ukraine numbers. So that's going on. Now that missile attack this afternoon all over Ukraine, apparently could have been already scheduled, but it may have been in response to those two attacks on Ryanovsk and Ingalls Air Force Base. That Ingalls Russian Air Force Base, the one that's close to Mongolia, they had 2 planes that had minor injuries, harm, damage. I think those were Tu-95s. Okay. Now, we have this. Yeah. All right. We recall Dr. Martin Luther King. He was a civil rights leader in the United States. And he said, one day we will judge one another by our character rather than the color of our skin. But oh, I guess Dr. King didn't realize how dedicated the deep state would be to eradicating certain ethnicities and races. So we have this from Israeli News Live. He's talking about the biolabs, and we know those inside Ukraine and in other areas were making viruses to take out certain DNA groups we would call races. In Ukraine, it was primarily the Slavs, who were Ukraine citizens but spoke Russian. That had been going on for years. The killing and the perfecting of viruses based on ethnicity. That's your culture, your group. They can also identify you. This ethnicity is identified by certain technology that's coming out. The race would be through the perfecting of certain viruses. Now, this is coming out. To determine your ethnicity, your culture, and track you and and know where you are. This comes from the website Guardian. China and England are using face recognition plus. In China, it's called Hikvision. And then in the UK, it's a different company. It's called FAICE Face Tech. And what it can do facial recognition. And from the cameras around, they can also ID your gender, your race, that would be based on your DNA, and your ethnicity, that would be your culture. And in China, they're really using it to track Uyghurs, who are a minority Muslim group. But in the US and other nations, yeah, it's tracking us. And we would be naive to believe it's not already in operation in the United States. Okay, we have this coming out. We had a fashion house, Balenciaga, affiliated with Kim Kardashian, who came out with some disturbing pictures of young humans clutching smudged and dirty teddy bears dressed in bondage outfits. And then there was disturbing art and written things in the pictures. And they were alluding to Baal as being their leader. Now, Baal has been identified by the prophet Dutch Sheets in 2007. The Lord told him, Baal is the strong man, the principality over the United States of America. And just recently, Dutch had a word from the Lord in the last couple of days, how to combat Baal. Take communion daily and pray. And we can certainly do that. Now, I had a Facebook friend on December 3rd. She said, I woke up at 1:30 in the morning and the Lord had a word for me. And God said, I will turn America around. I will release my angels to change the government of America, the education of America, the churches of America. Plus, it's time for my warriors to pray. And we recall the Lord blesses his people who bow down and worship him and pray. So it's good to recall when we have this war situation still going on and many people are still alluding to nuke here, nuke there, or hypersonic, which can kill just as many people. So we would pray that God would intervene and send his angels around and spread peace and prosperity for all peoples around the world. So it's good to remember God is in charge and he is on the move. I love you and I'll see you soon.